Microfinance. This is the topic which we are going to discuss today. Now, if you go back to the earlier topics, you can see that we were discussing about self-help groups. Self-help groups, as you can see over here, this is a village-based financial intermediary which consists of around 10 to 20 local people, and they contribute regularly for helping in raising enough capital so that it could be funded to either to the members of the group or to the outsiders for any kind of purpose. So the topic which we are discussing today, microfinance, is also connected to this self-help group. So first we should know the meaning of this microfinance. It is a type of banking service that is provided to unemployed or low income individuals who would otherwise have no other means of getting financial services or gaining financial services. So microfinance, it is a type of banking service only, and the goal of microfinance is to give such low income people an opportunity to become self sufficient by providing a means of saving money, borrowing money, and insurance. So, in other words, we can say that this is actually a provision of financial services, provision of financial support, like in the form of loans, savings, insurance, etc., which are provided to the people who are living in extremely poor conditions or who are living in poverty. In India and in many other developing countries, microfinance has successfully contributed, or we can see great success stories in the developing world. And this microfinance is widely considered or widely recognized as a sustainable solution in helping in overcoming poverty. So, this is not a new concept. This concept was there in the economic countries, in almost all the economic environment. Most of these uh, organizations or most of these self-help groups or NGOs are actually playing a major role in providing microfinance. Now here you can see the second point. The interest rates are normally lower than those by normal banks. When you talk about the money lenders or such lending in institutions or organizations in the villages, they normally charge higher interest rate. But microfinance, the interest rates are normally lower. Now, here you can see the third point, Opportunity International. That is the name of an NGO. This was one of the first non-profit organizations to do this. How did they do this? They started recognizing the benefits of providing capital to the people who were struggling to get out of their way of poverty. So over the years, this particular NGO, this is an NGO, it has expanded its financial service offerings to various clients. Now, one more thing which we have to remember here is that microfinance organization always give a priority or they serve the particular needs of women who are living in extreme poverty. Many times we can see that women are excluded from education, from workplace, they hardly own any property, and they are denied equal participation in politics, especially in the rural areas. So, in order to consider their efforts, this Opportunity International have nearly 85% clients as women. Of course, they do provide or they do extend loans to men, but they feel that the opportunity for interrupting the extreme poverty, that efforts come mainly from female or women. So when women are able to improve their circumstances or their living conditions, naturally they will be improving the lives of their children. And thereby, by investing in nutrition and education, etc., of the children, the women can help to provide or create a better future for their children and their communities. Now, the World Bank is still they are telling that even now the industry that microfinance industry is not yet able to meet the demand. Still, there are people around the world who don't have access to any of such kind of financial services. Microfinance in our country it works through mainly many NGOs, many self-help group, etc. And in India, it is monitored or run primarily by NABARD in the field of agriculture and SIDBI in the case of industry. SIDBI stands for Small Industries Development Bank of India. NABARD we will see in the coming slides. So when it comes to microfinance industry, it is a boon to the people who are otherwise not financially able to start or run any entrepreneurship. We can see that many of these microfinance organizations are now focusing on the people who have greatest need, like the people who have been displaced, those people who are living in the rural areas, those who cannot bank with or they are illiterate to deal with any banking transactions, and these are all coming under the marginalized people. So maintaining this focus on these group of people, microfinance can help create a world in which the underserved, they can have fair access to economic opportunities and they can even try to move beyond poverty. So one way of tackling problems we know that is in India, especially if when it is a very large country like in India, we need to provide self-employment opportunities. So this scheme of microfinance or microcredit has become or it has been found to be an effective tool in order to lift the poor people above the level of poverty. So as I told you, it works through NGOs or self-help group and monitoring is done, weekly monitoring is done, refund of installments and all are, it's quite well systematically functioning. In India, there is considerable scope for expansion of such programs because even now, a majority of the people in India are still below the poverty line. So, along with NGOs, along with various self-help groups, government also come forward to support these people. In the next slide, you can see about NABARD. So, now what is NABARD? NABARD means NABARD stands for National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development. This was established by an Act of Parliament on 12 July 1982 to implement the NABARD Act of 1981. This is one of the premier agencies to provide credit in the rural areas. Now, what happens is that many self-help groups are working under or they are established under NABARD's Self-Help Group Bank Linkage Program. So, they have their own uh, self-help groups, they borrow from banks, and once they have their own capital, they start paying to the commoners or paying to the various clients. This actually help in delivering the microfinance services to the poorest of the population that would have been difficult to reach directly through banks or other institutions. So they are actually working at the grassroots level or the ground level. So the self-help groups banking linkage program, it is quite prominent, especially in the southern states like Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, etc., where they are doing quite well in this particular sector. So what happens is that an economically poor individual, that person will get the strength as part of this group because they are part of this group. There are people to guide them, there are people to train these people, and even capital can be arranged. So, and along with that, there will be less paperwork and less documentation process and all. So, NABARD is one of these premier agencies who is going to monitor all these activities. So, it is an apex regulatory body. We can say apex means the supreme, the topmost regulatory body for overall regulation and licensing of regional rural banks and apex cooperative banks in India. This under the jurisdiction of Ministry of Finance, Government of India. Here you can see the role of NABARD. The NABARD, as I told you, it is an apex financing agency. It provides for investment and production credit for promoting various development activities in the rural areas. It also includes monitoring the credit delivery system, whether it is reaching to the actual person who have applied for that, whether the rehabilitation schemes are proper or not, whether training is given to the personnel, etc. What is this rehabilitation schemes? Rehabilitation is a term which we commonly use like when some natural disasters happen, people lose their homes and they are shifted to somewhere else. They are allowed to settle in that place. They are given the support to settle in that place. That is normally rehabilitation. Here also in a similar way, we can say that if the person is not able to return or repay the amount, some kind of initiative, some kind of help support system will be given. That is all monitored by NABARD. Then, it also coordinates the rural financing activities of all institutions who are engaged in this field and also maintains liaison. Liaison means maintains contact with the central state government and Reserve Bank of India, that is RBI. Now, when it comes to India, RBI is the apex authority with respect to banking regulations or banking activities. So it coordinates. NABARD helps in coordinating the rural financing activities, and it also helps to contact and maintain liaison with the central state governments along with Reserve Bank of India. Now, monitoring and evaluation of projects refinanced by it. What is this refinancing then? NABARD actually provides cooperative banks and many other regional rural banks loans and advances which are repayable, and this is refinancing. This amount is then given for various production, marketing and procurement activities. This is short-term refinance, and this is done in order to supplement, or it is actually a support to the resources of banks, and this will help to improve the credit flow at the ground level. Every time the ultimate beneficiaries of investment credit, it could be the individuals, it could be the partnership concerns, the companies, etc. So this NABARD provides this refinance to various state cooperative banks, then regional rural banks, commercial banks, etc., so that that could reach at the ground level. So the role of NABARD is something very important in helping in the economic development of the country. NABARD stands for National, here you can see, National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development. It actually monitors and evaluates the schemes and the financing, rural financing especially. So microfinance is actually a very important tool in alleviating the poverty of the poor people. This is because it helps to reach the financial services at the grassroots level. When we look into the villages, especially in India and all, even now we can find people who might not be having any bank account, or we can see people who are illiterate, who don't know anything about banking schemes, who don't know anything about the benefits which are provided by the government, the schemes which are provided by the government, nothing. They are all excluded from the main core financial services. So microfinance is one method or one tool, a very effective tool in order to include these people. We are actually financially we are including these people. That is known as financial inclusion. This is because many times, as I told you, these people are underserved, and these people, when they are coming forward, we can create a world in which they get access to several economic opportunities which will help them to come out of their poverty.